Stop the presses, Bears fans. We have a new head coach. Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, Bears podcast by Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and what else is there to talk about, people? We got a new head coach. Matt Nagy, formerly of the Kansas City Chiefs, is now officially the Bears head coach. And people are grasping at straws. They are trying to connect dots that don't connect, that aren't there. It is absolutely crazy to me. And it's for the overly positive side and the overly negative side. I got some bones to pick. So, number one, why does it matter what age a coach is? Somebody has to explain that to me. Everyone, not everyone, but I hear a lot of people saying, yeah, the Bears got their young head coach, We got our young offensive head coach. What does the age matter? What does your age have to do with you being able to coach football or knowing football or having energy or being a great motivator or being a great leader? I'm not exactly understanding. I know it probably is rooted in the Sean McVay crap, but overall, I'm just like, what exactly does this mean? Why do people keep saying that? But anyway, that has nothing to do with it. His age is his age. I don't think that has any bearing on what he's going to do as a coach. Number two, we have some people, of course, talking about Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tennessee Titans on Wild Card Weekend, and some people basing their evaluation on Matt Nagy based off one game. Now, I think most people that I've seen and heard, they aren't talking about that. It's more so the talking heads that are talking about it. So I'll give fans credit for that, because it's easy for people to sit there and try to judge him off one game, because that's the, short-sightedness that some people have. They're like, and not even one game, but one half. Like, well, they didn't run the ball in the second half and they didn't score any points in the second half. It's his fault. And then we got this whole controversy of, we don't know if Andy Reid was calling the plays. He had a play call sheet. We don't know if he took over that game and blah, blah, blah. And I love Andy Reid's response. He was like, Matt called all the good plays. I called all the bad plays. And so it's silly. I was joking with people. I was joking on Twitter about Bears fans watching that game like a hawk, but truly there probably are some people that were super into it and basing way too much of their opinion on that one game. That means nothing. Like, that means nothing at all. So, moving on from that, one thing that on the negative side that a lot of people are saying is that the Bears moved too fast on their search. Now, for me personally, I think the people that are saying that are people that had other candidates in mind that they wanted. Like Pat Shermer from the Vikings, DeFilippo from the Eagles, Matt Patricia, possibly whoever. And I think people feel like they're better candidates than Matt Nagy. Because for me, if you feel like Matt Nagy can do the job, then why does it matter when you got him? That's like saying Tom Brady, like, why would you get Tom Brady in the first round? He was drafted in the sixth. Like, if he's the guy, he's the guy. Who cares when you got him? And so, for me, I think those people just had their eye on different candidates. Because had those same coaching candidates not been in the playoffs right now, and everybody got interviewed twice, and they picked Matt Nagy, nobody was saying we moved too fast. Maybe because if they're not in the playoffs, then people will be like, oh, they're not good head coach or head coaching material. But you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, you're trying to go in a roundabout way saying we were too quick, when really it's just you don't think we got the right guy. Because let's say we hired Pat Shermer today. I guarantee you most people wouldn't say we moved too quick. So I think that's more so about people having somebody in mind and trying to play it off as we weren't patient enough. Because I don't think that's true. From what we heard, they interviewed pretty much everybody they wanted to interview. And yeah, it was quicker than I expected, but there's no way we're going to sit here and say that we moved too quick. Another negative thing I heard. So some people were saying that it worries them or whatever that it seems like he doesn't have a coaching staff to come with him. And this is more so about Vic Fangio, which we'll get into. but people were saying, hey, you know, he doesn't have his own defensive coordinator in mind, or he might not have this or that, or one of the reasons the Bears move quick is because they want to get ahead on the coaching staff search, blah, blah, blah. And to that, I just say that's so ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. I think people really have a messed up idea of how like football works within that coaching structure. Nobody has an entire staff in their back pocket. And people simplify it so much, and it is absolutely crazy to listen to, where they're just like, yeah, you know, this guy probably is not ready to be a head coach if he doesn't have, you know, X, Y, Z in mind and, you know, ready to go. Where are these coaches at? If they're ready to go, where are these coaches at? Please explain to me. If these coaches are so good, who cares if they have a staff? If you got a quality staff, why is your whole staff unemployed? And if they're not unemployed, what makes you think they're just ready to go from the team that they're on? Like, yes, everybody has connections and ideas, but to sit here and say that, oh, people come into the interview with a whole staff ready to go. That is not how football works. That is not how it works at all. I was listening to somebody was telling a story about Sean McVay and Wade Phillips, and they were saying that he said in the interview, I want Wade Phillips to be my coordinator. But at the time of the interview, McVay had never even met or spoken to Wade Phillips. And so, yes, he had an idea of who he wanted, but that doesn't mean they're ready to go. Like, it worked out, and I want to say Wade Phillips wasn't working at the time when McVay got hired. But to have an idea and, you know, target is one thing. To sit here and say, well, Matt Nagy might not have a coaching staff on deck, so maybe he's too young, he doesn't have enough experience, doesn't have enough connections. That's just so silly to me. That makes no sense. That is not how it works. When you get a new staff, you're going to have some people you want to put on, as you know, that have been with you. You're going to have some people that your connections recommend. And you're going to have people from the old staff stay over too. So, like, it's a combination of things. Nobody rolls up day one with, you know, a 30-plus coaching staff and a couple vans and, you know, take over the place. That's not how it works. So, anyway, Matt Nagy, I'll come back to him because I want to talk about Vic Fangio. So, the whole coaching tree and staff came up because of Vic Fangio. The report is that the Bears are looking to bring Vic Fangio back as the coordinator and allow him to run the defense. So there's a lot of things to talk about with that. I'll say right off the bat, I love that idea. I love that idea. I was looking forward to maybe switching to a 4-3, but hey, that's just me. I like an even front. But overall, it's a good idea because somebody was asking me about it was some similar conversation we were having, and I was saying, you know, the best chance that the Bears have at copying the Rams is to bring in whichever these offensive coaches they want, and then bring Vic back and let him run the defense. And if you've been listening to my episodes, you've heard me say, watch the Rams. When the defense is on the field, McVay is talking to the quarterback. He's talking to the offense. He's not even watching the game. Wade Phillips, longtime veteran, knows what he's doing. I think he's a good coach. I mean, he's not like nobody's amazing. But he can run the ship on his own. He knows a lot of good coaches. He knows people that can run the system he wants to run, and they go out there and do it. And so I was like, you know, the best thing they can do is that. Now, did I believe the Bears were going to do that? Never. I didn't think they were going to bring Vic back. That's unprecedented for the most part. I mean, yeah, the Rams brought in Wade, but he came with McVay. To keep the same person there, that's not something people do a lot. It's something I root for and something I've always advocated. Like, if you got good coaches and good results, let them stay and just, bring in the new parts. But some people feel just structurally you have to wipe the slate clean. And I'm never a fan of that, but I didn't think the Bears would do that. And so the second question would be, well, would the Bears go out and find a veteran D coordinator and let him take over? And I don't think so, because nobody up top knows football, and Ryan Pace is a yes man. So I didn't think anybody would have that foresight. I figured they would just say, hey, you bring in who you want to bring in. It's up to you. Like, cause it's like a blame game with the Bears. It's like, oh, I'm pushing this off to you. Here you go. You bring it in. I don't want nothing to do with it. So if it don't work, it's your fault. And so that's how I figured it'd go. But I'm pleasantly surprised that it seems like the Bears are making the smart move and telling this guy, hey, it's your first time being the head coach. We want you to really focus on this side and these aspects, and we want to bring Vic back and just let him run the defense. So the question is, a lot of people asking, is it fair or is it smart to force Vic upon Matt Nagy? And I think it's not even a question. It's perfectly fine, because you're not forcing him on. Again, if Matt had a guy that he this is my guy, he's going to be my D coordinator, it would have been a different question. I don't think the interview or whatever would have went as quickly as it did. And so you have to feel like he obviously doesn't have that. And most people don't. Again, depending on who you are, you might have people you want to put on, but they might be position coaches. They might be quality coaches. It might be somebody he knows he wants to be his coordinator for offense. It's not necessarily I got a D coordinator and the whole staff ready to go. And so I don't think he's been forced upon him, but even still, why would you not want that? Because there are certain coaches that are at a status in a place where they know how they want the whole ship to run. They want the whole ship to run one way. And it is clear. I don't know Matt Nagy and all that, but it is very clear he's not that type of coach. He's never been a head coach before. Even if he has ideas, he's just not at that level yet. And so I don't feel like he needs to come in and control every single aspect of the coaching staff. Not to mention, Ryan Pace is very clearly in charge. I said that after Black Monday. Ryan Pace is looking for somebody that he can pull rank on. And so, which is fine. If you come in as a head coach not wanting all that power, cool. And so, if I'm in that situation, then I'm going to say, hey, we got a roster that he's worked with. He's got results with this roster. And so, he's a really highly respected coach. He's a good coach. So, yeah, let him stay. That's one less thing I got to worry about. I mean, again, a lot of people see coaches as egomaniacs. And when you get some success and you've been doing it for a while, yeah, you can be. But when you start out, it's not like that. Trust me, on any level, that first time head coaching and whatnot, you're really like, yeah, take that off my plate. Thank you. And if it don't work, okay, that wasn't my guy. Let's bring in, I find the guy I want. Let's bring him in. Or I got visions of how the defense is going to be. Whatever. So it's a win-win to me. I don't see it as an issue. I don't think they were forcing him on anybody. I think most people would be perfectly happy bringing him in. Now, if it was somebody like a Wade Phillips, like where he's a veteran, really proven coordinator, solid, rock steady, and you had him ready to go, then okay, I can understand them saying, hey, I don't want Vic. So if you had a Wade Phillips, or if you had a Jim Schwartz, or for Leslie Frazier, or whoever, you had them sitting there out of a job for whatever reason, and they wanted to do it, then yeah, I can see you saying, no, thank you, I don't want Vic. But that was not the case with Matt Nagy, so I think it's perfectly fine. And it's the smartest thing you can do. This guy can put all his attention on building his culture and building his offensive side of the ball. So I'm perfectly fine with that. And I hope we bring him back. I really do hope we bring him back. This was something I was advocating for before. I don't think he should have been the head coach, but I don't know. I would have been fine with it, to be honest. There's so many people like staking claim on who they thought should have been the head coach, and it's so much of it is stuff you don't even know. You don't even know. And so I can't sit here and clearly say, yes, this person should have been this. I'm a root for whoever they pick, but I just think Vic's best spot was just working with this defense. And it in turn becomes basically almost like two head coaches, which is fine. I mean, the final say is with Nagy, and you know, the structure of things is with Nagy, but as far as the schematics, offense and defense, you got this guy taking care of this and this guy taking care of that. Almost like Remember the Titans. But anyway, so yes, I'm down with Vic Fangio. I hope he comes back. He might have signed while I'm recording this, or he might have signed somewhere else while I'm recording this, but I hope he comes back. All right, so back to Matt Nagy. Again, grasping straws. I hear people, man, you saw what he did with Travis Kelce. Hopefully he's going to be able to do that for Shaheen. Okay. And this is where I get annoyed. It's like some things don't connect. First off, he only called, 5 games this year as a play caller? And then as a system designer, he's running Andy Reid's system. Andy Reid, not only play caller, is a play creator. That man dreams up schemes all the time. So if you think it was Matt Nagy creating this offense, you're sadly mistaken. And not even that. Even if Matt Nagy was making plays, he learned under Andy Reid. So it's not like he has some next level new stuff. So even to that point, even if it was or whoever made the plays, Travis Kelce is a beast. So sitting here trying to talk about coaches as if they made players is absolutely ridiculous. And I can say that as a coach. No matter what plays get made by my players, I didn't make them do that. There's things I could teach them, and you know, as a position coach, but as a coordinator, there's not, especially offensively, there's not stuff that you made him do. They have to have that God-given talent. There's certain situations where guys aren't good, and then they go to your system and they work because you give them a specific job. Yes, that can be attributed to a coach, but that's very rare case. For the most part, it's always coaches with great players that do great things, and then they get all the credit. Not all the credit, but they get credit. So Matt Nagy might be great, he might be good, but to sit here and look at the Chiefs and say, oh, this XYZ happened, so yeah, he's going to do XYZ for us, that's silly. That's absolutely silly. And then on top of that, so let's look at what Matt Nagy is, because there's a lot of misconception and people just running with the narrative. Matt Nagy, again, called 5 games. And I don't really care, honestly. I mean, you have to start play calling somewhere. Yes, it'd be nice if you had a resume of play calling and being good at it, because you might not be good at it. Some head coaches, offensive or whatever, are not good at calling plays in the game. And they have to realize that about themselves. So we don't know. That'd be nice, but they got to start somewhere. And I don't think if he's a good head coach, I don't think it'll matter if he's bad at calling plays, because that's a simple adjustment like Andy Reid did to letting somebody else do it. Somebody that you trust. So, yes, only 5 games. And then on top of that, the one thing that nobody's talking about, because we're like, yeah, we got our young offensive mind, blah, 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 bull crap. The man's been an offensive coordinator for 2 seasons. Are we not going to talk about that? And again, I'm rooting for him. I hope he does well. I'm not knocking him one way or the other. I'm just bringing everybody's arguments down to earth. Whether you against him or for him, I'm bringing everybody down to earth. The man has been a coordinator for 2 seasons. That's the fact. He came up with Andy Reid from the ground up, like a lot of people do, intern, quality coach, assistant coach, blah, blah, blah. So he's been under the Andy Reid tree, but he's only been coordinating for 2 seasons. So everyone trying to attribute so much of the Chiefs to him, I think you blowing it out of proportion. If you're just giving him props because the 5 games he called plays, they look better, and that's your one stake, I think you're way too short-sighted. Look at the totality of his picture and understand that there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees with anybody, but definitely with him. We can't keep grasping at straws to say he's going to do this, he's going to do that. We just got to wait and see. We got to hear him talk. We got to see what Ryan Pace gives him, more importantly, as far as a roster. And then we got to see what he does. Like, I know we want answers now, but it's not going to happen because the man does not have any, you can't connect his past to say what his future is going to be. Now, the other facts, his recommendations and endorsements. You got Andy Reid, called him one of the greatest head coaching candidates he had. Now, that could be lip service. I'm not saying he's lying, but he can be hyperbole just because that's the person up for a job. And coaches look out for each other. Absolutely. This ain't Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, coaches always look, it looks good on you to have a coach become a head coach, A, and B, you know, you help me grind. I want you to do well. So coaches look out for each other. So he could easily just be saying that because he's the next man up. But either way, he endorses him as ready to be a head coach. So that's important. You got Louis Riddick from ESPN. If you don't know Louis Riddick, that is him and Mike Mayock are the only 2 people I ever listened to about the draft and about football in general, because they understand it from a realistic point the way I do, and they come at it from a coach perspective. So I like them. Louis Riddick, he was with Philly when Matt Nagy was there as an intern, gave him a glowing review, said he's going to be the next coach of the year. He's going to be a great play caller. Gave him a glowing review. Again, not set in stone, but my man Louis Riddick said it, so I'm always down for his endorsement. And then the last level we got is that there was reports that Matt Nagy was in love with Mitch Trubisky during the draft process, to the point he kept in contact with him throughout the season. Now, this is some behind the scenes stuff that people don't understand. People think, you know, coaches meet these players, they don't care, and then after the draft, if they're on the team, then they care. And some coaches might be like that, but the long-standing coaches, the good coaches, they build relationships with these players. And I say that so much all the time during the draft season, and you'll hear me say it this year, that those interviews, those combines, those impressions are very important. There's a lot of players that act like, you know, oh, well, if you're not in the run to draft me, I don't care. I don't have to impress you. Or if I don't think I'll ever be on your team, I don't have to impress you. But you're not always going to stay on the team you was drafted to. Trades, you know, being released, of course, becoming a free agent after 4 years. You don't know where anybody's going to be. That coach you pissed off on the Browns might be the D coordinator on the Steelers by the time you become a free agent or whatever. Or whatever team has the most money and you want that money, and that coach like, no, that guy's not somebody I want to coach. And so you know, just like real life, you never know who's watching. And so coaches understand that. Coaches with players they believe in, with players that impress them, they keep connection. Now, do they text them throughout the season and build a mentorship? Not always, but some do. Especially those big name coaches. They always are mentoring because you're at a point where I'm successful and it's not just about acquiring players. It's about, you know, upping the quality of the whole league. And so a lot of coaches like that, like a Tony Dungy, a Herm Edwards, or whoever, those coaches are known for doing that. And so a veteran move by Matt Nagy, but something, he didn't know he was going to be the Bears coach. He didn't know, he was going to be calling plays and become a candidate. And so it wasn't done out of, okay, I'm scheming. I like you. We hit it off. I think you're going to be good and you want some pointers. I'm here for you. And so apparently that relationship catapulted Matt Nagy into the spot. And I'm okay with that. If that's the only reason they hired him, that's an issue to me, but I'm okay, with them having a bond already. But at the end of the day, it don't matter. A lot of this is just, stuff to talk about. At the end of the day, who cares? Who cares if they like each other or best friends? Like, if they don't work on the field, then that's the only thing that matters. And so it's nice that they found somebody that believes in Trubisky. It helps, but I don't think for the franchise that means everything. And so overall, I'm cool with it. I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm going to be way better with it if they announce Vic Fangio's coming back and running the defense. I'm going to be real excited to see what we do with our roster. And so I think it's perfectly fine. People got to realize coaches got to start somewhere. And if somebody's talented, to sit here and say, oh, you need to earn your stripes, that's stupid. That's stupid. I've been against that. I'm a young dude. I've been coaching a long time in some positions that you would probably be like, oh, that's weird. But it's because when you know your stuff, you know your stuff. And when you meet people that see that, that's all it is. It's the connections. And so to sit here and say, XYZ about Matt Nagy is false. We just got to give him a chance. He could be good. We got to wait and see. The only last thing I'll say is I am not excited how much we're tying everything to Trubisky. I was thinking about this during the wild card playoffs, and it was just like, we heard Matt Ryan always had kind of a reputation, but when he had Kyle Shanahan, those were some of his best years. Or you'll hear like Ben Roethlisberger had his best years with Todd Haley and fell off when he left, and then he came back and he was better. And it's just like, I'm like, football's always kind of been up and down, like for whatever reason, whether it's the coach or you having an injury or whatever. Seasons are up and down, and it's just what it is. I never remember people like accommodating quarterbacks so much. Like, of course you want to get them talent, but just all this talk of, we got to get an offensive minded guy because we got Mitch Trubisky. We got to get a guy that loves to do this on offense because we got Mitch Trubisky. We got to get somebody that likes Mitch Trubisky already because we like Mitch Trubisky, and that's the only way we're going to go. It's just like ridiculous. It's reminds me Chris Ballard, the guy that's the GM with the Colts. He interviewed for the Bears job, and he said, hey, I want to get rid of Cutler. I want to get rid of this. And blah, blah, blah. And they didn't give him the job because they was like, no, those are prerequisites. You got to work with Cutler. You got to work with this person. Now that's sticking somebody. That's forcing stuff upon somebody. And so they hired Phil Emery, and we know how that worked out. So for me, it's like, it's weird. And I don't think it's a winning formula to sit here and say everything has to be done with Mitch Trubisky in mind. And that is the mantra. And you know what? If I'm Ryan Pace, that would be my mantra maybe in my head, because you went on a risk and got him and you tied yourself to him. Chicago Bears fans do not work for the Bears. We're not GMs. Why are we all invested in Mitch Trubisky? Either you're a player or you're not. There's things that can help you, of course. There's a lot of supporting cast that happens, but if he's not a player, then he's not a player. And if he's not the guy, he's not the guy. Why does everything have to be catered to him? And I get it. Give him the best chance to succeed and see how he does, but we're talking like the Bears won't be a franchise if he don't make it. Like, it'll be another one. It'll be another one. And so I don't understand this whole we have to do everything for Trubisky. Like, they've never raised quarterbacks that way. They never, we're going to hire such and such because he knows you. We're going to make sure we get this person because he likes that. And this quarterback, like no one does that. They give you what you got, and then you go out there and you become the player you are. And that's how it's always been. and this new trend of hand-holding quarterbacks is a symptom of the spread offense, and it's a symptom of the prisoner of the moment society where everybody wants quarterbacks to turn around, pivot from college, and be amazing. And it's just, it's mind-blowing to me, to say the least. But anyway, I talked a lot. Want to hear what y'all got to say. I know y'all got something to say about Matt Nagy. Go to that comment section. Don't be scared. Tell me what you think about the hire. More importantly, what do you think about bringing back Vic Fangio? Comment, share it out so everybody can get their 2 cents in. Thumbs up, subscribe, and stay up and bear down.